Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Pay my homage to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, homage to Bharabhante, Guru Bhante, Bhikshu Sangha. My metta to Anagarikas, Upasakas, Upasikas. So today I would like to share Dhamma from Dhammapada about the story of the monks of Kosambi. So in the Buddha's time there was a city called Kosambi, and there was a monastery there. And there were so many monks who used to stay there. And there were primarily in this story, two groups of monks. One expert in Vinaya, one in Dhamma. So Vinaya means the disciplinary rules of the monks. So the monks have certain rules and regulations they have to abide by. Just like the Upasakas, they have 5 precepts. The not to kill, not to steal, not to commit sexual misconduct, not to tell lie, and not to take alcohol. That's the basic 5 principles for the Upasakas, for the general public. And apart from that, some duties. But for the monks, also these 5 applies, and there are some more rules that the monks have to follow, like brahmacharya and so many other rules and regulations for the monks. So one was expert in that because this Vinaya is quite huge. It's maybe around 6-7 volumes, a lot of rules, a lot of regulations, procedures. And then the Dhammas are the teachings of the Buddha, different teachings of the Buddha, especially like Four Noble Truth, Eightfold Path, and 7 Factors of Enlightenment, and things like that. And that also involves a lot of stories. Like today I am going to tell the stories like Dhammapada stories, Jataka stories, the past life story of Buddha, and the stories of the spirits, the ghost, Petavatu, their Vimanavatu, the stories of the divine people, how they are born there. Like that, different stories are there. Then many other Buddhas teaching to monks and lay people, and his interaction with other religion, as well as some kings and common people. So a lot of those teachings that are given by Buddha. So that is also quite huge. So there are these 2 wings, Dhamma and Vinaya. So they were expert in that, both in this kind of thing. But they were not still enlightened. Right? So until you are enlightened, you will have problems, right? You will, in the sense, your mind will trouble you. Your mind will give some difficulty, some trouble to you, for all of us, including monks, right? So don't think that the monks, when they take up this rope, they are totally free from all troubles. It's not like that, right? Surely they will have lesser problem than the lay people, but still. So there were these 2 groups who were there, and then some problem happened between them, between these 2 group. Between these 2 group of monks. They are all monks. They were all disciple of Buddha, followers of Buddha, but some problem happened. And the source of the problem is very small. It's very tiny. Just like any other problem in the world, if you see, a lot of problem, the beginning is something very tiny, something very small, right? But then it becomes bigger and bigger. Eventually, it becomes a big problem. And so in the same way, in this story, similar problem happened. So it seems that um, the group of one of the monk from the Dhamma expert, teaching, you can say philosophy group, you can say, like for your understanding, Dhamma. So he went to the washroom, and those days there used to be there was no tap, so they used to have water in a jar, So after you are done with your washroom usage, it seems you have to, empty the water in the jar. That's the rule, So you shouldn't keep water there. Probably the reason being some flies may come, right, and they may die. So you shouldn't keep the water exposed to the atmosphere. Either you should cover it or you should empty it. So it is one of the rules, a small rule. So we have a lot of these small rules for the monk, right? As small as, you can say, some chairs, right? For example, some chairs, indoor chairs. So if you keep outside for too long, it will be spoiled because of sunlight, right? So you need to keep it inside. So that's one rule, right? So like that, a lot of smaller rules are there. While eating, you should make noise, like sound. That it's called na chapu chapu karakang. Chapu chapu means like that, right? So you're not supposed to make sound while eating. So also while drinking, na suru suru karakang, like that. You shouldn't make that kind of sound, right? So that's the rule. So there are a lot of smaller rules, The major rules are very similar. The 5 precepts, it is almost within that and little bit more. Maybe you can say some 10 or 15 rules which are major, but most of the rules are very smaller rules, tiny rules. So this happened, and then once he left some water in the jar. And then when that Vinaya, the disciplinary group came, one of them came and saw that he kept the water there. And he asked him, "Did you keep the water?" "Yes, I did." "Do you know it is an offense?" I said, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know because there are so many rules. Sometimes you don't remember the rules, right?" So many rules. So he said, "I didn't know." So then he said, "Okay, if you have not intentionally done it, then it's not a problem." So it was sort of done, right? The one of the Dhamma group, the philosophy group, thought that it is kind of sorted, that that's a small thing, he didn't know, and he kind of accepted. Of course, he asked, "Should I amend? Should I confess?" There is a procedure where when you make a mistake, the thing you have to do is you just have to say, "I did it," right? Just confession. Something like that. So, or in this specific rule, you don't need to confess, but you just have to do a general thing like, okay, whatever mistakes happen, let me, just I just accept any mistakes that would have happened, like in a very general way. So some rules are that, and some rule you have to confess, some rule you have to take certain kind of punishment, in the sense punishment in this. There are certain punishment, and some major rule you have to just disrobe, right? You just have to live monk life. If some rules are certain very serious rules are broken, then you just have to live. So there are different remedies for the rules in the monk life. So this is something very, very small. You don't even need to confess. You just have to, when you do a general kind of, it's called apati desana, which means general kind of confession, where you don't specifically do confession of particular rule, but you just generally confess. So in that you can just remember, okay, today I just kept the water there, So you just have to do that. So it's not a very, very big issue. But the one of the Dhamma group, he somehow, he shared it with somebody else, right? And then they started talking about it, and then everybody in that group started talking about it, and then eventually it reached to this other group, the Vinaya group, and then some kind of problem happened. Like they just started kind of arguing with each other, and then they eventually became separated, divided, right, because of that small issue. So Buddha eventually came to know about it. So the Buddha said, what happened? What is the problem? He said that this small thing has happened. So Buddha said, just forget it. Just forget it. It's not a very big rule. Just forget it. Just forget it and just forgive it. And so Buddha said 2-3 times. But Buddha said 2-3 times, but they did not listen to Buddha also, right? They were so adamant with their quarrel that they did not even listen to Buddha, even after 3 times, 2-3 times telling. So then Buddha told about a story of the past, some Jataka stories. So that was one of the way of Buddha telling. So Buddha would always tell a story of the past, a past life story, so that they will understand. So one of the story he told was Latukika Jataka. So Latukika Jataka is about a small bird, quail, a small bird. So that bird gave birth to her eggs on a ground, right, a small ground. And a lot of elephants were passing by when the egg came out, and it is a small bird but still cannot fly. At that time, some elephants were passing by. He saw they were coming, and then he went and requested the elephant, please, elephant sir, don't step on my chickens, my chicks, my small chickens, chicks, smaller birds. So that elephant was the Buddha. He was born as an elephant. He was a very big elephant with so many other, some hundreds of elephants with him. He was the king of the elephant. In that group, he was the king. He was a group leader, basically. So he said, okay, don't worry. What I will do is, I will just stand on your nest, above your nest, and protect it so that all other elephants will go from this side and that side, so the birds will be protected. Your small birds will be protected. Then he was happy, and then Buddha said, then this elephant king, elephant leader, Bodhi, that is, at that time he is not Buddha, he is called Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means somebody who is preparing himself to become a Buddha in the future. So he said, okay, I have helped you, but there is another group which is coming behind, little far, but that group leader is very nasty. It's a very, very cruel, very, uh, very much sort of angry fellow. So be careful, be careful. So he said, okay, I will look after it. So that elephant left. So when that elephant came nearer, he went to that elephant and he said, "Sir elephant, please don't step on my nest. There are my smaller children are there." So he said, "I don't care. I don't care whether I can just hit 1,000 birds like you in one go, right? I can just do like that." And then he just didn't care. He just destroyed that nest purposely, and all his children were died. So this bird became very angry. He thought, I should take some revenge, very much revenge. So he first went to the crow. So the crow, and he said, "My dear friend crow, you have to help me. Still, what should I do?" He said, "You just hit that elephant. This elephant eyes. You just hit both the eyes. So that will be very helpful. I have to take revenge." He said, "Okay, I will do it." And he just hit, and then it's almost like bleeding. Then he went to the I think bee, one small bee. He said, "You just put some, some kind of juice or something into that, so that it becomes even more. It just sort of becomes more worst, right? It's like a poison, which will make it more worst." So that bee did that. Then he went to the frog, and asked the frog, "My dear friend frog, you have to do one thing. Now this elephant will come to water, right? So what you have to do is you have to make sound at the up of the hill, down the hill, wherever there is no water. So the elephant now cannot see, so it will hear the sound of the frog, thinking that there is water there down." So the frog has to make some sound. So the frog did that. So the elephant has to go up, go down, go up, go down, and finally totally exhausted. And as a result, he just died. He just died. So Buddha said, you see, in that past life, and by the way, that elephant leader was Devadatta. So Devadatta is Buddha's cousin in the present life, and always he is there with the Buddha and always trying to trouble him. So Buddha had always him in many of his life. He used to come and even in this his life. As a Buddha, he troubled him a lot. Right? He even tried to assassinate him. Right. So that's the thing. So Buddha told them that, you see, because of this anger and quarrel, even a small bird, destroyed the big elephant. So you shouldn't quarrel, you shouldn't fight, you shouldn't quarrel, you should not have. But they never listen to him. So then Buddha thought that these monks, they are not listening. So they're quarreling. So what? I can't do anything. Let me just leave the place, right? So he just took his bowl and rope. So the rope is the cloth, and the bowl is for the food, for the food. So the monks, they would, even now, and in the time of Buddha, they go from house to house for food. So that is the only belonging. So Buddha took this bowl and robe, and he went to a forest called Parileya forest, Parileya forest. And then, but before going there, he also met this group of 3 monks, Kimmila, Anuruddha, and one more monk. So these 3 monks, they were living very harmoniously. right? So they would, in some near the forest, they used to stay, and they used to, all these three monks, they were all enlightened monks, so they would never talk. I mean, in the sense, they on a regularly, daily, they won't talk. Only on regular days, they won't talk. Only during full moon day and new moon day, they would talk, and that too on the topics of Dhamma, on the spiritual talk, the talk of Dharma, teaching of Buddha. So on other days, they would just, whatever they have to say, they would do by sign, right? Just with the hand, like that. And they always, so Buddha saw them, they were happy, and then said, how do you live? So they said, we always think about each other. We always first think about each other, and things like we would do what the other people, other friend wants. So they were living very friendly. So Buddha praised them, and then he went to Parilayaka forest. In the Parilayaka forest, he was alone there, and there was one elephant. Actually, the name of the elephant was also Parilayaka. So this elephant, he was not a ordinary elephant. He was also a bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means this elephant in the future, he will also become a Buddha. Just like our Buddha was also elephant in one of his past life. So he was also so he too was, that coincidence here is that he too was very much tired of his elephant group. They were all this elephant. They were making the place dirty. They were sometimes making noise and all of that. So this elephant, he was Parilaya elephant. He was little bit fed up, right? So he also wanted to go alone, right? He wanted to stay alone. So that's why he came to that forest, right? So he was alone. And he saw the Buddha, and he took care of the Buddha, right? He cleared the forest, some place for the Buddha, and he brought many kinds of fruits, bananas, and so many other fruit, the wild fruit. He offered it to the Buddha. In fact, he gave some water also to Buddha to take bath. And like that, he took care of Buddha very beautifully, right? And he also, and in the night, he would also guard the Buddha against any kind of animal, wild animal, right? And then one day, there was one monkey. So this monkey, he saw that this elephant is taking care of Buddha. He also liked the Buddha. Because of Buddha's spiritual, loving, compassionate power, animal also like Buddha very much. So he also wanted to help Buddha, support Buddha. So he went in search of some honeycomb, which has no bee, right? Because he didn't want to harm. So he went in search of that and brought some honey and offered it to the Buddha. This coming full moon day, which is 7th September, it is celebrated as Madhu Purnima. Madhu Purnima, because on that Purnima day, that monkey offered that honey to the Buddha. So this Buddha, he just offered to Buddha, and Buddha had it. And once Buddha had it, this monkey became very, very happy. Extremely happy. He jumped here, jumped there, jumped here, jumped there. He was jumping all over the trees. And then because of that, he just fell down and he died. And after his death, he was reborn in the Tavatimsa heaven, right? Because of the serving to Buddha, because of faith in Buddha, it was such a strong karma that he just passed away in the Tavatimsa heaven. Then now lot of people they were all searching for Buddha, right? They were in the sense they were they didn't see Buddha for a long time, so they were finding where the Buddha went, where the Buddha is. Even some monks also were searching. So they eventually came to know that because of these Kosambi monks, they were quarreling. Because of that, the Buddha left. So the people, they stopped their support for the monk, that is food and other thing. So the monks, they are dependent on the donation, the support of the public. So they devotees, so they stopped, supporting. And because of that, this monk, now there is no support, right? So they finally came to understand, right? Because now there is no support, how they can survive without food, without all other kinds of support. So they finally accepted, and then they requested Ananda Bhante, who was personal attendant of Buddha. He asked, the Buddha, they asked the Buddha, Ananda Bhante, to request Buddha on their behalf to forgive them and to come, right? So then the Ananda Bhante went in the forest, and then the elephant, he was not allowing Ananda Bhante because he was guarding Buddha. Then Buddha said, no, you can allow him. Then only after Buddha's approval, Ananda Bhante was allowed, And Ananda Bhante also went with many other monks who also wanted to see Buddha. So then Buddha said that when those monks were also allowed, and then Buddha gave a teaching, there. He said that if one finds a wise companion, steadfast and virtuous, one should wander with him, mindful and content, overcoming all dangers. If no such companion is found, one should wander alone, like a king renouncing his conquered realm, like an elephant in the forest. Better it is to wander alone. There is no companionship with fools. Wander alone, committing no wrongs, at ease like the elephant in the forest. So that's what Buddha said. So Buddha said that if you don't find a good person, a good and nice friend, it is better to be alone. That's what Buddha said, to this gatha, this sloka, this teaching he gave, that if you have a very bad friend or company, then it will destroy your life, it will make your life more miserable, and it will take you more down and down. That's why Buddha always taught us about the importance of good company, good association. Because if you don't have a good association, then you will have a lot of trouble, a lot of difficulty. That's why Buddha always spoke about associating with good people. In Mangala Sutta also Buddha said, associating with good people is blessing. Etang Mangala Muttamang. So this is, I think this is the teaching Buddha gave, because that's what Buddha did, right? He saw they were not listening, so he just left them, right? Of course, he tried his best. It was not like he didn't try. He tried, but despite all his effort, they were not listening. They were not budging. So because of that, Buddha left them. And then when Buddha was leaving the forest, elephant was also coming, also came with him till. One of the things I forgot to tell is that whenever Buddha goes for food in the village, in nearby village, he used to go for food with his bowl, alms bowl. The elephant used to come till till the, say, till certain extent, to to protect him, and then Buddha would tell him, now you stop here, I will go, because as an elephant he can't, wild elephant, so he can't go to the village. So after Buddha comes, he is to again what do you call, escort Buddha, all the way till the place where Buddha was living. So when Buddha was coming out, leaving the forest, so elephant also came, and Buddha said, now you stop here, you can't go beyond this. Then the elephant stopped there, and then because of that, because he left Buddha, because he had to leave the Buddha, and he was very sad. Like, he became very, very sad because he had to leave Buddha, and because of that sadness, he died. He died, and he was also reborn in Tusita heaven, in that world. And then Buddha went to that Kosambi city and told all the monks that, Parechana vijananti maya metta yamamase ye chatattha vijananti tato samanti medaga. People other than the wise do not realize we in this world must all die, and not realizing it, continue their quarrel. The wise realize it, and thereby their quarrel cease. So Buddha said that if you don't realize, if you don't understand, or if you're not aware that one day we all have to die, one day we all have to die. So if you think like that, if you realize, then you will not cry, then you will not quarrel, you will not fight. Everybody at the end has to leave this world, has to live this life. Whatever friend or whatever people you have to, one day, you have to leave. You won't be always there. So if you think like that, then you won't fight, you won't quarrel. Like that, the Buddha gave this sloka, this gatha. So in this story, we can understand the importance of living in harmony, living in peace, and not attached to some smaller issues, right? There are many, many smaller issues in our life, and if we hold on to those issues, if we keep in the mind some smaller thing, then we will always have problem, we'll always have issue. So we have to live, we have to forget some smaller issues, so that we will be in peace. We really will be in peace. And that is something we can learn. And secondly, the company. So it's good to have good company, good friends who can help us, guide us, encourage us, support us, push us, and in many ways help us. So otherwise, as Buddha said, it is better to be alone. So sometime you just always want to have people. So okay, sometime there are no good people, you're alone, that is also fine. Like the Buddha, he was just alone in the forest. So that's what we can understand from this teaching. And also for the Buddha, there was a support of that elephant and the monkey, right? These two elephant and monkey. So what we can understand also from there is that if you are good, if you have goodness within you, if you are, having good qualities, kind, compassionate, generous, and doing good things for everyone, for yourself, and not harming anyone, then you will have some support. You will always have some support, right? Just like Buddha, he never harmed anybody. So he had even the animals, they supported him, right? So even the animal understand him, isn't it? So therefore, if we have some goodness within us, then we will have some support, you know. As Buddha also said, Dhamma rakkati dhammachari. So if you follow the Dhamma, Dhamma will follow you, right? So Dhamma is, you can say, for the lay people, dana, shila, bhavana. That is giving gift, giving dana, and following the precept, and bhavana, practicing meditation, right? So if you give and follow the ethical life, the 5 precepts, not to kill, not to steal, not to commit sexual misconduct, not to tell lie, not to use alcohol, like that, if you lead a good life, then, and also very important here is the metta, so metta is very important here, and karuna, metta, and also khanti, khanti means patience. So you need to practice patience, so here we can see that they were not patient, they were angry, right? These monks, they were not patient. So patience is important, and metta, loving kindness, that is wishing everybody's happiness, and then compassion, that is understanding each other's difficulty, right? So we have to understand each other's difficulty, each other's problem, that is compassion, and mudita, that is to rejoice in each other's happiness, and equanimity, letting go, right? You have to let go some of the difficulty that comes, right? So you need to, for example, letting go of this issue, smaller issue. So that's something we need to practice, and that's something we can learn from this teaching. And I think, but one of the most important is to, I think, to just let go of some of the smaller thing, smaller issue, smaller problem in our with our, say, with our family, friends, and other people, relatives, or like. So we should just let go, so should not make big thing. And because sometimes we hold on to it, because of holding, that is ego, that is mana, that is ego, and that ego creates more and more problem. The ego creates more and more issue within us. It gives us more and more difficulty within us. So we have to try to let go of this kind of ego, that we see. And I think this is also something we can see in your workplace, wherever you are working with your colleague, or with any other people that you come across. So it can happen, even on the street, on the road, you will come across some people, and then there will be some smaller issue, and then you might start fighting. That also can happen. So some of the smaller issues need to be forgotten. Need to be forgotten. Need to be, even though that may be something which is also part of our life. Smaller thing also part of our life, but we should not make so much a big fuss. A big fuss, a big drama, big drama out of some of the smaller issues. So I think we also have to recognize what is important, what is not so important, right? What is so big, what is not so big. So we need to have an idea of that. We have to keep in mind, understand what is smaller issues, what is bigger issues. So I think that is something very important, and so that lot of issues, lot of quarrels, lot of arguments, lot of fight a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of bitterness in the relationship can be avoided. A lot of can be avoided. Actually, it can be avoided. It's not so difficult, but it is just because of that ego, which is also not necessary, right? Sometimes people think I have to, I have to have ego, So people keep the ego as something very, very precious, People keep the ego as something very precious, like me and my. So that is actually nothing. It is just an air. There is nothing, So uh, and when, as Buddha mentioned here, when we die, we carry nothing. We don't carry our body. Our body is burnt, burnt in the fire, or thrown in the water, or buried in under the ground, our body, and all our homes and properties and clothes and family members, everything you leave behind, and then you go, right? So what you take along with you is your karma, right? If whether you have done a good karma, bad karma. But if you have this ego, this kind of argument, fight, then you carry that bad karma with you, and you die very, very disturbed. You will have a disturbed death. So if when you have a disturbed death, then sure, naturally you will have a bad rebirth, very bad rebirth. So when you have a bad rebirth, then again your suffering continues, right? So this is very harmful, actually, harmful mind, which is your ego and hatred, anger, So therefore, we have to think like that, and therefore we can let go of all these kind of smaller issues. So I hope you will be able to think about it, and if you have something going on in your life, some smaller issues, you are holding on to it, I would urge you to leave it. I would urge you to overcome it sooner and sooner, as soon as possible, and free yourself, And when you free yourself, then you will have a lot of good thing happening in your life. You will have a lot of happiness and lot of success, lot of joy in your life, right? So this is the my offering for you to reflect. Sa, no, sa.